Okay, so let's dive into something pretty common we see out there. You're using Matillion, you've got Snowflake running underneath. It feels like you're all set, right? Like job done, perfect data setup. But what if I told you that might be a bit of a mirage? That maybe without really understanding let's say, the blueprints under the hood, especially how Snowflake works internally, you could actually be, well, leaping money or just missing out on performance.
That's exactly it. And that's really our mission for this deep dive today. We want to explore how, yeah, Matillion is fantastic. It's a powerful visual tool for ELT, but its real power, the full potential, it only truly comes out when the team using it has more. They need those deep Snowflake-specific skills that, frankly, go way beyond just, clicking around in the Matillion interface. And for this, we're drawing some insights from a great source called Matillion and Snowflake Beyond the Canvas.
Right, so it's this kind of powerhouse combination. Matillion gives you that nice, intuitive workflow design, and Snowflake is there delivering the scale and speed. Seems perfect on paper. So what's the catch? Is there a catch?
Well, there is a nuance, maybe not a catch exactly, but it's where things get really interesting. See, Matillion actually generates SQL code that runs, directly on Snowflake. So here's the key question. What if your team doesn't really get Snowflake's architecture?
Okay.
Things like its micro-partitions, those tiny immutable chunks of data it uses, or how the credit system works.
The billing. Yeah.
Exactly, that unique pay-per-second compute billing. It can really climb if queries aren't efficient, or even just the little quirks Snowflake has with handling semi-structured data, like JSON or XML. If you don't understand that stuff, you are very, very likely paying hidden costs and definitely missing out on performance boosts.
Huh. So it's not just about dragging and dropping boxes in Matillion then. It sounds like if you don't have that deeper Snowflake knowledge, you could actually be sort of sabotaging yourself, even if it all looks fine on the Matillion canvas.
You could be, yes. Unintentionally, of course.
Right. Can you maybe give an example, like a common pitfall?
Absolutely. A classic one we see a lot. Teams just dump all their raw JSON or XML data straight into a single variant column in Snowflake. Matillion makes that part easy, the loading. But
then the querying happens.
precisely, if your SQL then tries to repeatedly query deeply nested parts of that structure, well, Snowflake has to do a ton of extra work scanning and parsing, and that directly leads to bloated compute usage. You burn through warehouse credits much faster than you need to. This is exactly why that specific Snowflake knowledge isn't just a nice to have, it's pretty critical for efficiency.
That really clarifies it. It's like having a really high-performance sports car. Let's say that's Matillion, but if you don't know how the engine works or how to shift gears properly, that's the Snowflake part.
Yeah.
You're either just, idling expensively or maybe driving around in first gear burning way too much fuel.
That's a great analogy. Exactly. Understanding things like how to properly cluster your data, that helps Snowflake's micro-partition pruning.
Which means faster queries, right? Because it skips data it doesn't need.
Drastically faster, potentially. It just skips reading huge amounts of irrelevant data blocks. Makes a massive difference. Or just knowing how to tune the SQL itself for warehouse efficiency. And it goes further. Leveraging Snowflake's more advanced stuff, like time travel for querying past data states or secure data sharing.
Zero copy cloning, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
zero copy cloning for instant storage-efficient copies. Using those features within your Matillion pipelines, that's where you unlock the real synergy. It's not just about making Matillion function, it's about making it function intelligently because you understand the Snowflake engine underneath.
Okay, so let's bring this down to earth. For, say, enterprise leaders listening, or maybe data pros thinking about their careers, what's the takeaway for them?
Well, for leaders, it really points to investing in talent that gets both tools deeply. Matillion speeds up development, no question. But that speed only translates to real business value if the pipelines are also optimized for Snowflake's cost and performance model. We've genuinely seen companies. They're initially thrilled with how easy Matillion is.
Sure, the speed of development is attractive.
Right. But then later they discover they were, say, unknowingly overspending by 20 or 30% on Snowflake compute. Or maybe critical reports were taking hours longer than they should have. All because the underlying pipelines weren't Snowflake aware.
And flipping that, for the data professionals themselves, this sounds like a pretty big opportunity.
Oh, absolutely huge. If you can combine that Matillion expertise with real Snowflake fluency, knowing about warehouse sizing, query tuning, efficient SQL cost management, you become incredibly valuable. You're not just building data flows, you're engineering efficiency and cost savings. Companies are actively looking for that dual skill set now because that combination, the visual workflow skill plus the deep Snowflake intelligence, that's what delivers measurable ROI. So yeah, the bottom line is Matillion and Snowflake together, incredibly powerful. But you only really unlock their full, incredible value when you truly understand how to optimize both systems working together. It's about intelligent integration, not just connection.
So thinking about this, what does it mean for you listening right now? Maybe take a moment and consider. Could there be hidden costs or misperformance opportunities lurking in your current cloud data workflows? Especially if you haven't really looked beyond the canvas of your ELT tool, what might you actually uncover if you started digging a bit deeper into the architecture of your data warehouse itself? Something to think about.